Let's talk about New Amsterdam Season 3's finale episode, Death Begins in Radiology. Hey guys, it's Kay, aka Purple Teapot. What an episode we had on Tuesday night. I know not everybody's happy because it was very underwhelming, but I'm happy because we got Sharpwin. Oh my days, if you haven't checked out my previous video where I just talked about how happy I was. I'm just so happy. I've got like that Helen Sharp smile. That smile she had after Max had confessed his feelings. I have that smile right now. I know the other storylines were underwhelming, but I feel like it opens doors for next season because this season was very short and they didn't have time to finish or expand on a lot of these storylines. But let's get into it, and as usual, here's your spoiler warning, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's start with Lauren. I was rooting for them up until this episode because Lauren went and ruined it. Like, girl, could you not have done the long distance thing? You are rich, you have money, you could go to Washington every weekend to go visit her. You're both going to be busy, please. And then the power dynamic between Lauren and Leyla when she becomes a resident in her ED just isn't going to work. Remember that conversation they had about Lauren being hard out there and soft at home? What is Leyla's reaction gonna be when Lauren has to speak to her the way she speaks to all of her residents? And I'm sorry, but Lauren does not talk to her residents very well at all. The only person who she speaks to well is probably Casey. Everybody else gets treated like shit. Lauren really went and broke the law and then lied after in the previous episode she didn't want any lies or secrets to get in between them. And then a month later she goes and lies to her girlfriend. Make that make sense? She needs to confess like immediately. Season 4 episode 1. She needs to confess. Something about this makes me feel like she's using Leyla as a replacement for the drugs. Like she has to be addicted to something. Tell me what you think in the comments. Okay. Now let's talk about Floyd. This man is in a big mess and I don't see how he's going to end up being happy at the end of this, unfortunately for him. Like the last episode, he was like, oh, we can't do this. Well, that's what he was saying, but his body language was telling us something completely different. This man said he wanted to take her there and then just walked away. And we were like, you're not just gonna walk away from that. And that was just from before I saw the promo. I was like, this man is not done. And then this episode, it's him bringing Lynn breakfast in bed. This man is so whipped. Can't blame him. They're so good looking together. The vibes are immaculate. It's just that she's got a husband and he doesn't want her to have a husband, and that's where the problem is going to be, as well as her husband being his new boss. As if things couldn't get any messier for him. I didn't think things could get messier, and then I saw that sneak peek and I knew immediately that was going to be Lynn's husband. I know it's an open relationship, but at this point he needs to end it ASAP because it's the boss's wife he's sleeping with. Like, that's where the problem's going to be, not the open relationship, I guess. And the way that Lynn's husband did introduce them and then Lynn was like, nice to meet you. You've worked together. You could have literally said that you've worked together before. Next season, I feel like she's gonna get pregnant, not know who her baby daddy is, and be like, Floyd, I'm pregnant. I don't know if it's yours. I'm not gonna do a DNA test. I'm just gonna tell my husband that it's his. Because if he doesn't break up with her, that's what's going to happen. I only see things getting worse from here. And then when Floyd's mom finds out what's going on, it's going to be so messy. Oh my days. And when his friends find out, I feel like they're going to judge just purely because it's his boss's wife. Oh my days. Lauren is going to have a field day when he tells her that Lynn is his boss's wife. I feel like even Max is going to judge him. Max is going to be like, I had an emotional affair, but at least I waited till my wife was dead to be with the woman I loved. Tell me what you think is going to happen with this storyline, because the only way is down. At this point, this storyline is like Lil Nas X in that music video where he's just going down to hell. That is literally this storyline. Tell me what you think in the comments. Okay, now let's talk about Iggy. This storyline was so underwhelming to me. I was really hoping Chance would come and that would be like a whole thing, because I thought we were going to have like really dramatic cliffhangers, but we didn't. I thought like Chance would have escaped the Arkham Asylum and was coming for Iggy, Martin and the kids. Like, I really feel like what happened with Iggy could have been Chance's villain origin story, even though he was a villain way before. I honestly thought that Iggy had 5 kids, but it was because I'd never seen them all in the same place. I was so confused. I was like, how many are there? But there's 4 now. We've come to the conclusion that there's 4. The last video that I made, I said there was 5, but there's 4. And after that conversation that Iggy and Martin have, I feel like they might adopt more, because Iggy had that we could have more of this face on his face. Maybe this time Martin's down and Iggy doesn't have to go behind his back, which was an absurd storyline. I had so many problems with season 2 Iggy and season 3 Iggy. But maybe now that he's going to stop seeing patients, he'll be less chaotic. Because after that incest storyline, nothing about him sat right with me again. Also, now that Iggy's stepping down from seeing patients, what exactly is he going to be doing? Is he going to be the paperwork guy? Are we going to see less of Iggy now? Is Tyler leaving? These are all the questions that I want answered, because I'm confused. If he's not going to deal with patients, what is the storyline that he's going to have? Tell me what you think in the comments. Let's talk about Helen and her storyline. So in this episode, we say goodbye to Mina. I hope it's not a permanent goodbye. She can come back to visit in New York during her summers, I'm hoping. Mina definitely grew on me, and I made it a point not to immediately hate on her, because I knew she had a purpose, and she served that purpose so well that in the end, I really, really did enjoy her character. Her character was what gave Helen the character development that she didn't get in season 1 or 2 like everybody else. Now onto her mom. Her mom explains so much about her. It's actually crazy. Like, why she's so closed off, why she reacts the way that she does. Maybe in next season I hope we get to see more of Helen's mom. Maybe we get to see her meet Max for the first time. We already know she's gonna hate him. This is how I picture the scene. Helen's mom just shows up to New York, knocks on the door, and Max opens the door in his boxers, and then Luna is somewhere running around the way Luna runs around, you know? And then Helen's mom is like, who's this man? And whose child is that? I feel like she's not going to be down for Helen being a stepmom. She's going to be like, I wanted grandkids, but I didn't mean in this way. She seems to be like a very traditional black mother. She reminds me of my nan very, very much. Like the way she said to Helen, you got no man, you got no kids. I was like, girl, leave her alone. I'm guessing she doesn't know about Helen's struggles getting pregnant. When she finds out, she's gonna be like, so you were having a hard time getting pregnant, and then you decided to go be with a man with chemo fried sperm. Like, we could bet money that she doesn't know, which is understandable because clearly they don't have the best relationship. And if she knew, she wouldn't have said that. She really wouldn't have. And it's not like Helen hasn't been trying. She almost had a husband, but he died. Did her mom not know about Mohammed? Because the things that she said was super insensitive. I feel like Helen's mom saying all that is a bit of foreshadowing to Helen's future with Max and hopefully Sharpwin's baby. I definitely want to see more of her mother. I'd like to see them repair their relationship because clearly it's not in a good place. I was less of a fan of her mother. Even though I enjoyed the character, I'm less of a fan of her mother than Mina. Mainly because she's an adult and she had no business talking to someone like that. Even though it's her mom, it wasn't a vibe. Tell me what you think of Helen's mom in the comments. Also, somebody in my comments to my Sharpwin video from Wednesday said that maybe Helen becomes medical director in that clinic in London. I don't know how possible that is, considering that she's an American doctor, but maybe. And how would that work with her living in New York unless she was going to leave? I don't know. That's not the vibe. But I'm not opposed if they can find a loophole. I just don't want Helen to leave. Tell me what you think. Do you think that she's going to become medical director of that clinic in London? And where would she find the time to be medical director? I don't know how they'd fit it all in. She has less on her plate for a reason and she should keep it that way. Maybe she and and Max head to London for a couple of months to help fix it up and then come back? I don't know. Let's talk about Max and that ring. His storyline this episode was definitely about him getting over his guilt. One thing I did notice this episode is when Max didn't have that ring on, he was being incredibly romantic, and that is when he sent that voicemail. I also think the fact that she was on the other side of the world definitely helped as well. And then when Sandra gave him the ring, the music was upbeat, and then as soon as he put it on, the music went solemn again. It was like that ring was definitely a representation of guilt, as Floyd and Brantley said. Like, he was almost about to come to peace with the fact that he had lost the ring. He really was. But at the same time, I also understand that he wanted it to be his decision. And it didn't take long after that for him to realise that maybe he shouldn't be wearing it. One thing I don't understand is why he had to talk to Helen about the ring. I really don't understand. But then at the same time, we also have to remember that Max is a complete and utter doofus, an idiot, so many other words we could use to describe that man. And her reaction was so valid. And for a moment I didn't understand why she forgave him so quickly and let him walk with her. And I'm going to talk about why I think she let him walk with her in a minute. But back to Brantley and Max's conversation. Let me tell you, I loved that conversation more than I loved the conversation that he had with Floyd. This season, Max and Brantley have been like a mother and son duo. The way that he begs her for money, she says no, then he throws a tantrum. Very much parent-child vibes. And as Brantley said, he took that ring off subconsciously, and when he took it off, he was happy. And when he put that ring back on, it just became a cause of drama. That's when he decided that he'd go tell Helen, "Oh, I lost it and I'm so glad that I found it." Bruh, read the room. Do you not remember the voicemail you sent her? Like, that ring definitely was the causation of him not knowing how to talk to Helen. And yes, I'm very lenient with Max, and it's only because Helen is also. If Helen's not mad, how can I be mad? It's why I ship them. If Helen wasn't so hopelessly in love, I wouldn't be shipping them, because Max is an idiot. But he's an idiot with promise, he really is. And I don't think they need to talk about that moment about the ring. I think it was more important that he took the ring off without her influence, without her saying to him, "You need to take it off." It had to be his choice, and that's why he put it back on, because he wanted to make that choice. As I said in my previous video, that walk was about him realising that him keeping the ring on wasn't about his love for Georgia. It was about his guilt that he was still alive and he gets to be a parent to Luna, and he gets to be with the true love of his life, the woman who he loved before his wife died. And he realised that he didn't want to feel guilty anymore, and he wanted to live his life, and he realised that he should take off this reminder of what was. They opened the show with his voicemail talking about how he wanted to be with Helen in all the ways that he had imagined. And he couldn't do that with the ring on. And once he took it off, he found the courage to fight for, run to, and kiss the woman who he truly loves. I'm not saying he didn't love Georgia at one point, but I don't think he ever loved Georgia the way that he loves Helen. Their kiss was perfect, and the only thing we all hated was the fact that Helen closed the door. But we also have to remember, Sharpwin is canon. Maybe we're not total clowns. Last week I said all I want was a kiss, and it's what I got, and I can't be mad. And the more I watched that kiss, the more I realised how perfect it was. I'd just like to take this moment to say I told you so to all the people who thought that Max was going to propose. He just about took off his ring, darlings. I wanted to say last week that the chance of him proposing was the same chance that Georgia would have been raised from the dead. New Amsterdam is a medical drama, not a soap opera or a sci-fi. Unless Shonda Rhimes had something to do with it, it wasn't going to happen. Not in this season. Theories are theories for a reason. They don't always have to come true. So I was so wrong about some of the things that I said, and I'm completely fine with that because I enjoyed how the story turned out. And especially if you've been watching New Amsterdam for 3 seasons, you know this show is so unpredictable, especially this season. And it really isn't that deep to be wrong. It's okay to be wrong. Like, I agree that they needed to pick up the pace, which they did in this episode at the end, but Max and Helen don't have to rush their relationship. If they did get engaged, it would have been like them jumping headfirst into a shallow pool. They need to let that pool fill up a little bit before they jump in. I also feel like there was a level of commitment that they have at this point where they don't even need to get married just yet. Their relationship this season reminded me of my favourite song by Kiana, Show Love. Well, one of my favourites. I have many favourites of Kiana's. The song goes, keep showing up and I'ma keep showing love. Even though Max pissed her off, she knows he's bad with words most of the time, and that's why I think she was so easy to forgive him. Their love goes beyond his words, and their relationship has always been about action. It's always been about them being there for each other since season 1. The ring was a barrier for him and not for her, and she knew that. Everyone knew that. She knew that the whole thing with the wedding ring wasn't about her, and that's why she let it go. After that finale episode, maybe I don't need to go to New York just yet, but just know I'm ready and waiting for them to do something that will cause me to have to catch a flight. So guys, tell me what you thought of Sharpwin in this episode. I'm going to spend the next 3 to 4 months watching that Sharpwin kiss, so I'll see you then. I am going to post during the hiatus, definitely before the show starts again. I just like to thank everybody who in the last 6 weeks have really supported this channel and have watched my videos, shared it, everything. I just want to thank all of you. I'm just so thankful because, like, honestly, I had the idea to do this at the start of the season and I didn't do it because I didn't like how my voice sounded. I really didn't. I decided to do a review for a promo a month ago and it blew up, and I'm just so thankful for everybody who has supported me, supported this channel. Like, I love you all, I really do. Thanks for watching, listening, and don't forget to like and subscribe. This weekend, JD and I are going to do a stereo session again where we are going to be talking to the rest of the Damn fam, and it starts an hour earlier than last week, so it's going to be 5 p.m. my time in England, and I'm going to put out other times on my Twitter. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye. If anybody's wondering why this video took so long to come out, it's because I keep seeing gifs of the Sharpwin kiss and I have to watch a couple times every single time I see one. Yes, someone come get me. And I wish these kids outside would shut up because that would be nice.